Over the last decade of altcoins existence, we've seen the rise of 2.4 million different cryptocurrencies, which makes it an absolute sea of coins to pick from. And it's like picking a needle in a haystack. So in today's show, we're going to go through what some of the top potential picks could be within that sea of 2.4 million different cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap, if you look over here. And I'm going to show you which are the best ones to pick for the 2024-2025 crypto cycle. If you want those coins, make sure you smash the like button. It really helps to get the show content out there. Subscribe to the channel and stay through until the very, very end of the show, because that is where I will be going through this list. And don't worry, I won't bore you with going step by step through each and every coin. I've already made my picks and I'll share that with you towards the end of the show. So without further ado, let's get straight into the show content over here. And we'll start off with the banter bubbles. We're looking at the daily time frame, still in that pullback mode. Yesterday, we looked at the possibility, at least, of the pullback into the fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame, as well as that 50 and 200 EMA cross, golden cross, I must add, as well, which was taking place just around that $61,000 mark. And we will update you on that in today's show, where we are within the greater scheme of things. Are we going to bounce from this level? Because there is a lot of important information to look at. And I think a lot of people have lost sight at what is actually one of the most important times for the market. Also, let me know in the comments, what are your top picks when it comes to the altcoin sector? Which coins do you believe will mint new millionaires in 2025? Now, this is quite a loaded question because it all depends on how much capital you allocate into the market. Everybody has a different risk appetite and everybody has a different bankroll size. So depending on which coin you will choose will completely also depend on how much money you have to put into the market. So let me know in the comments. I will look at your requests. I see we have Casper, Flux, XRP. We have Buy the Dogs all in. So a whole lot of different options over there. We'll see if yours match up with mine. I think I've gone through a pretty comprehensive list of what the best picks will be. So, okay, on the daily time frame over here, we have a couple of coins showing signs of strength, but most of them still down, weekly holding up the gains. Some of the major outliers over here are Render, Popcat, we have IMEX, Floki, Phantom also in the top there, Fetch AI, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗧. So you're definitely seeing a little bit of a narrative over here that it is AI that's starting to heat up, of course, with NVIDIA earnings. And you would expect something like that to be the case. Meme coins also holding supreme. Yesterday, we discussed how meme coins and AI are probably going to be the top contenders, more specifically the meme coins. But don't worry, today's show is not only meme coins. I do have some other picks over there. So again, stay until the end. Now, one thing that I wanted to have a look at over here is how price is holding above those key levels, the key monthly, if you look at it on a monthly time frame at least, the key horizontal levels of previous resistance now flipping into support. Same thing is true on the 3-month and the 6-month scale. So it's looking like a very, very big SR flip at this key level. But one line that I marked off over here is going to be coming up. It's actually on the 5th of November 2025, and that is the blue line running down the screen. And that is your election time period within the US. And we can have a look at what's happened in the prior election phases. That is 62 weeks away. Now, the easiest way to do that is to simply just go back in time, and we can have a look over here all the way back from at least the election phase where Barack Obama was selected and essentially won that presidential cycle. Now, this was your election phase over here. This is using the Brave Liquid Index, or the Bitcoin Liquid Index, BLX index, as the highest time frame with the most data in. So it goes back all the way to at least the 12th of July 2010, pretty much Bitcoin's inception over here. Price increases, you lead into a big pump up, comes down, and then the 2012 election phase began. And that's usually following also the halving cycle where price starts to move onwards and upwards. And then Barack Obama gets elected, and boom, you go into extreme money printing and an absolute behemoth bull run. Fast forward to the next one over here, you can see that the bull run was already full in force, just like it is right now, where we've already been going up only for quite a long period of time, even though it doesn't feel like it when you have this significant period of chop over here, where if you look at that from top to bottom, that was a 38% correction, very, very similar to what we've currently seen. And then you lead into that election phase, right? Look at this, slowly grinding onwards and upwards. If you look at the timing factor as well, isn't this interesting, right? This is right around that August period. Now, seasonally, Bitcoin tends to put in a low in between July and September. I do believe the chances are very, very high that that low is already in for this current part of the cycle, and we should be marking up from this point. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't come back down one more time to fill some of that inefficiency. If that does happen, you can consider it a very, very good opportunity to reallocate. Now, as you move up through August into September, you can see the slow grind begins into the November elections, and at that point, you're already well on your way into the bull run. Donald Trump gets elected. What happens next? The consolidation where at the prior all-time highs, and that leads to a pretty expansive move towards the upside, finishing off a substantial bull run where Bitcoin went all the way up to almost 20,000, a couple of dollars short of $20,000. And then you go into the 2020 election phase over here, and you can look at this again. From a seasonal perspective, you make a major low in between July and September. So this occurred over here in August, and we can actually measure from the top to the bottom over there. Well, that presented a 20% pullback, and you lead into the election phase going into November. So already September, you start to mark up, and then pretty much the up-only phase begins. And again, highlighting the consolidation period where at the prior all-time highs. So you got a consolidation period at all-time highs. You have the consolidation at prior all-time highs. And what happens next? Boom. Major rally into the bull run. As soon as Joe Biden got elected, price did come down, and then it did rebound fair enough over there. So I won't beat him up too much for that. But now what are we seeing over here? Well, exactly the same thing, right? Seasonally, August the 5th over there, we put in the major correction from top to bottom over here. This is the first serious correction we've had within this cycle, negative 32% from top to bottom. What is the expectation over here? Well, if it plays out anything like the prior times, well, what you should be expecting is that you're going to slow grind up through September, leading in eventually into the election phases where you're going to start to mark up. So let's just quickly move that up. I noticed that I have a completely off target over there. There we go. That's better. That's the election phase, not 2025, but 2024. So that puts it out at 10 weeks away. So you're looking for the grind up into the election phase. Again, just showcasing what happened the prior times, election phase up. Again, election phase over here in 2016. Just look at the aggressiveness of the moves that come following that. And then 2012, you know what it looks like. A big moves over there. So as we continue through this corrective phase, just understand that this time period won't last much longer. It looks like prices should start to push up very soon. Not only looking at that election phase period, but even the timing cycle. Typically, we see on the higher end 6-month corrections from top down to bottom. We consider the corrective phase ended when Bitcoin is already trading above the breakdown level, which occurred all the way over here in March 2024. So it's been a long time period, 165 days in terms of days left to end that 6-month period. Well, you have about 16 bars left, 2 weeks left, and that takes you into the 6-month mark. And that's where we start to expect that things should start to heat up and get very exciting. So you probably want to start to look to get position, especially since the DXY is breaking down. We've had this plan for the longest period of time. And again, I will just zoom out to showcase what this looks like. Well, the DXY is the dollar index, capped between range high and range low, bouncing between those levels, also in an upsloping parallel channel. And now you've lost the mid-range of that upsloping parallel channel. You've also lost the range high level over here, and you've started to take out some very key levels. And if you can see a deeper breakdown, that's where your bull runs take place. And you can also see it on this chart, right? Have a look at the red line over here, which is the DXY. As the DXY comes down, it's correlated alongside Bitcoin. What happens to Bitcoin? DXY comes down hard. Bitcoin leads into the bull runs. As the DXY bottoms, that is where your bull runs top. And we saw the same thing in the last cycle, right? If you look over here as well, DXY coming down pretty aggressively over there. That was the start of the bull run. And now we've had this chop consolidation period. And you can see that Bitcoin hasn't followed through yet. Look at the most recent drop over here. The correlation, or it's at least decorrelated at the moment, or the divergence divergence. When this comes down, you should expect that Bitcoin should tick back up. So a whole lot to look forward to over there. And yet the crypto fear and greed index is still sitting at 48, which is in that neutral territory. Now, any flushes that come towards the downside will bring that straight back into the fearful zone. And we've said it before, if you do get into extreme fear, which is what we did see not so long ago, we saw 39 days ago, the fear and greed go down to at least the 10 to 11 mark. That presents phenomenal buying opportunities where you're looking to establish your longer term positions. And you guys know it, we're following this cycle pretty much to a T. We are in the purple over here, which again, you can see the consolidation that occurs just for a little bit longer. And then leading into that 680 to 690 day mark is where things start to pick up. And I actually marked that off on this chart over here. That would be the white line. So this is where the price cycles really started to heat up. I've got that marked off on the 23rd of September. So hold your horses, stay through till the end. Don't back away. Your job is very easy. All you need to do is buy the right coins and sit back, relax, and hold onto those positions until we see the end of the bull run. And we'll be able to know when that time comes based on timing factors, at least when we're getting very close to that time period, as well as when we see signs of distribution, which I will update you on when that is important. Okay, so all you need to do is buy and hold. Remember, if you are buying and holding, don't keep all of your coins on an exchange. Get yourself a ledger. So I'm going to plug them in over here because it is at least one of the best products that we've had at Crypto Banter, which we can give to you, the audience. There is the new Ledger Stacks, Ledger Flex as well. The difference between the two is really just the size. So if you do want to opt for one that's slightly less in price, the Flex should do the job. It's got an iPhone-like experience. You can store your NFTs, everything on there, Bluetooth capable. But if you don't want to get that because it's too expensive, at the very least, just have one of these. Honestly, guys, have one of these. This is the kind of money that you want to put on here and leave for the long term, decades. There is a link in the description below which gives you a little bit of a savings bonus. There it is. If you go through to Ledger, it does support the channel as well. That's your only job during this time period, right? Just buy, hold, sit on your hands, and wait for the profits. Now, Bitcoin pushed above the all-important 21 exponential moving average, and we're looking at this SR flip region as price comes back and pulls back into the zone. Again, that's why we have a question mark there. Are we going to flip this back into major support? You could theoretically come a little bit low, but I'd really want to see price hold up at the $61,600 mark, which is going to be back testing into that 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. And if you do see that, that presents a wonderful opportunity to buy the dip. So with that being said, here's our fair value gap on the daily time frame. Price is currently coming down. Also, you have major support just below that, which is going to be your 9 and your 18 exponential moving average. Most notably, that's the yellow and the pink. You're looking to backtest that as support and then start to push up. So here it is, price coming down. I think you'll pull back into the moving averages, just like we showed yesterday in the show. We were looking for something like that into that fair value gap region. And I'm looking for support to be found over here. The reason I think we come down a little bit lower, as we're seeing right now, is because I was looking at this, right? Firstly, you do have liquidity to the downside. You have some above, which simply just means a ranging market. But more importantly, when you have a look at this chart, which we did also actually cover in yesterday's show. If you go through to yesterday's show over here, we focused on it. There you go. Or let's just go back one. We focused on it. Where is that thing going? There we go. Right over there. It's not coming up. Let's get, there we go, right over there. We focused on this right over here. We showcased how you could see, if you look at Bitcoin price, it was holding up flat. But if you look at the orange, which was the spot, it was selling. If you look at the leverage, well, they were holding flat in alignment with price, showing a divergence with open interest increasing, longs opening up. And we said, be careful. There's a good chance that you're going to flush down into the fair value gap over here and probably find some lower support. Now, if you look at the live data, once again, what are we seeing over here? Again, this is just marking out yesterday's show live when we were looking at it. And what happened over there, we had everything converging back. The open interest flush, just like we said it would. We had the leverage coming down and consequently price pulled down. Now, if you look at what's happening right now, it's pretty similar in the sense that you have, well, spot is coming down, leverage is coming down, price is also coming down, open interest is holding up, but the downslope of the open interest has slowed down and it's being marked by the aggregate funding rate going up, which means that it's longs opening up positions over here, again, trying to buy the dip. So they might get flushed just down a tiny bit more, but at the end of the day, we are looking for a rebound at some point today from this level. So look for your long opportunities into the zone over here. Look for signs of strength. How do you do that? Typically what I do is I mark out my area of interest just like this, and I'll literally just go on the 5 or the 15-minute time frame and look for nice reversal candles, right? I look for beautiful wicks that are showing signs of strength, possibility of reversal. Maybe I wait for a break of structure on the 5-minute time frame with a high and high low, and then that is where you can start to establish your long positions. Remember, if you do want to learn more about this, it is in Whale School, right? All of what I teach is in Whale School. You can go through the entire course content over there for the very, very expensive price of free. It's completely free, guys. You don't have to pay 1 single cent. My gift to you. Use the link in the description below. We opened up a special final 24 hours and or at least 1 day and 9 hours left for the latecomers, because we're getting flooded with emails. So use the link below, join into Whale School. There it is. If you do want to learn more about all of this, it is there. Remember, in the live workshops, they change each and every cohort, and I do dive deeper into all the details like we just did right now in the show. Okay, so what are the coins? What are the altcoins? Since we have Bitcoin dominance pushing towards the upside and we're looking for the breakdown of that, we're also looking for Ethereum or ETH BTC at least to push towards the upside. That usually signals the altcoin run. And if you look over here, the funding rate has been fully reset as we outlined yesterday. Usually where it's heated and you don't want to be getting into the altcoin market is when you see this time period of extreme orange and yellow. This is usually where you start to see your market cycle tops. And currently we see the inverse of that, right? If you look at this now, we see the inverse of that. We're seeing very, very flat to even negative periods of funding over here, with the funding sitting in the green and blue region. So I will be dropping it in the Discord. I also wanted to let you know with regards to the Whale Room Discord, later on today, when we do the Zoom, if we just bring that into the screen over there, I'm going to be live later today to go into more detail with these altcoin picks. For those of you who want more information based on what I'm about to show you, make sure you jump into Whale Room. We're going to be doing that live. That's at least at 5 p.m. Dubai time, UAE time. I think that's 3 p.m. SAST time, 8 a.m. in the US market. If you are looking to buy those coins, join in. Remember, we have a lot of profitable traders over there. It's not just me, plenty of alpha within this group. So what are the coins? Is it Solana, right? Is it going to be Solana, since Solana ETH is continuing to push towards the upside and breaking out? Is this the coin that's going to make you a millionaire? Well, the chances are probably not, because the market cap is already very high. So we have to go further down the risk curve. So it's not Solana, but Solana is still one of my biggest, it is my biggest position, not one of, it's definitely my biggest position. Still looking good, waiting for it to break over 163, close above that level, gaining acceptance above the mid-range. That will open up the trading range all the way to the top side. So what are the coins that we're looking at? Is it Sui? Is it Lithium? Is it Casper? Is it going to be Injective, Ton, Dot, Atom, Near? Let me know in the comments, what do you think are the best picks? I've created an entire list, which I have on my other screen on the right-hand side. So we'll slowly start to work through it. Remember, if you want the exact picks of the top 5 that I'm going to be holding for the rest of the cycle, that will be dropped later in Whale Room. I'm going to discuss that on the live Zoom session. We'll have an interactive session, discuss it, and we'll break down which are the best picks. But I'm going to give you a whole lot that I'm looking at. The way that I did this is I went through at least, let me look at my list. I went through the top 400 coins on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. I didn't really want to go further beyond that. I might later in the Zoom session go beyond that. Now, the amount of capital that you allocate is obviously going to completely depend on you. And each person is going to be different, right? Somebody that has $100,000 would only need a 10x gain in order to get $1 million. If you have $10,000, well, of course, then you're going to need a 100x gain. And that means you're probably going to have to go further down the risk curve. What is the risk curve? Well, the lower the fully diluted value valuation, the more risky the coin is, so the further down the list over here, but also the higher the pump potential when the market eventually goes up. But it doesn't come without risk. I have to be clear. It comes with extreme risk, and surviving this game in the long term comes down to risk management. And again, if you want to learn more about risk management, we actually did our live workshop in Whale School last week, Wednesday, where I focused pretty extensively on risk management. And I think you can actually go to the Crypto School's YouTube channel if you want to watch that video. They also streamed it over there, so you can get a taste for what the workshops are like. All right, so going through this entire list, there is a lot of rubbish in here, a lot of rubbish. Most of these coins you do not ever want to touch with a 100-foot pole. These things will make you sick. You'll need to go to a doctor if you buy these coins. So let's go through the exact list of coins that I'm looking at. So I worked from the top 100 and I filtered by fully diluted valuation. So from top to bottom, okay? I went from the highest fully diluted valuation and said which coin reasonably could put in substantial gains without taking on too much risk. And these were the coins that I picked. All right, first and foremost, going down the list over here, look, Toncoin was close, but it wasn't in the pick, right? Because it's already a $27 billion fully diluted valuation, while Solana is sitting at $92 billion. And I just felt this is not going to be a Solana killer, so I didn't pick Ton. I do think it can do well, but I didn't find it to be a worthwhile pick. I went further down the list over here, and the first pick that I could find that made sense to me was Sui, right? If you look at Sui over here, current market cap 2.4 billion, fully diluted valuation at 9.6 billion. So that's one. We're going to go through the list in detail in Whale Room. I do want to remind you, this is where we'll actually make the buying decision of which one we're going to allocate hard and heavy into and create that portfolio. For now, I'm going to give you the picks. It's up to you to decide for yourself, if you're not in Whale Room, how you want to allocate. All right. So that was one. Then I went further down the list to the next one. And the next one that made sense to me, which I already have in my portfolio, and I said I can't live without, is Casper, sitting at a $4.1 billion market cap with a $4.1 billion fully diluted valuation. Why? Well, because this is a proof of work coin, which gets mined just like Bitcoin, right? So there's not new supply that's going to be coming onto, or at least there's not unlocks that are coming onto the market that's going to drown you in tokens. Casper was the next noteworthy pick that I had. Going further down the list, the next one that I had was Render at $2.5 billion market cap, $3.4 billion fully diluted valuation over there. I thought that this one made sense as well, at least to have part of my AI portfolio. Okay, further down the list then, we went to the next one, and I think I had to go really, really far for this one. It was Injective. Injective sitting at least a $2 billion market cap, $2.1 billion fully diluted valuation. That was the next one that I put on my list. I skipped the rest over here. Although you guys know that I do have Bonk in my portfolio, I did actually skip Bonk because I just felt there was going to be other memes later on that don't have as high market caps and therefore are going to move a lot quicker. So don't get me wrong, currently I do have Bonk in my portfolio, but I just don't think if I was starting fresh today that I would allocate more into it. The next one that I had was Thorchain, right? Rune, $1.4 billion market cap, 1.8 fully diluted valuation. Now, this one is a little bit riskier, and the reason why is because I still feel that the chart is not super bullish. It's not bearish. It's just kind of chopping around in neutral territory. And basically what that would mean is this probably runs much later on in the cycle, right? I don't think you're going to get the immediate price gain. It's like comparing an electric vehicle on takeoff versus a petrol vehicle, right? The electric vehicle goes like that. What is the electric vehicle? The meme coins. What is the petrol vehicle or the gas vehicle? Thorchain or Rune, right? It'll catch up, but it might take some time. So keep that in the back of your mind. Next up on the list, which is a very similar analogy that I had to Thorchain over here with the vehicles, electric versus gas, is going to be Arweave. I put that on my list, $1.6 billion fully diluted valuation. I skipped Phantom just because I think that there's a lot of chart damage from a technical analysis perspective. I know Run is very bullish on this. I've skipped that one. I thought there were better picks moving on. Okay, let's continue down the list over here. I think that might be it for the top 100. We might have to go on to the next page. Okay, of course, not to miss out, we have Brett. You know, that's one of my top picks. This gives you direct exposure to base chain. What is base chain? It's a layer 2 built on top of Ethereum by Coinbase, right? Coinbase built base chain. Base chain is on top of Ethereum, and they don't have a base chain token. So if you do search that up, please know you're going to get scammed. There are plenty of base chain tokens, but they're not real. They're not actually from Coinbase. The only way you can get it is if you buy Brett, that's your exposure, or you can buy actual Coinbase, right? The stock. Next, we have Mantra. So I wanted real world assets in there as well. I already have this in my portfolio. Mantra, fully diluted valuation, 828 million. So these are not even in the billions yet. And when the market cap increases in size, you can expect that these should also carry towards the upside. So that is in the top 100 list. I might reserve the top 300 and 400 on the list for whale room because of just for the sake of time, it's going to take too long to go through all of these, but I'll do the rest of you on the show a favor right now. We'll go into the top 200, the ones that I picked from the top 200 list, or at least the next row, which is going to be from number 101 down to 200 on CoinMarketCap. And I think I had to go quite far down this list. So first one I have, Popcat. I really think Popcat is going to perform phenomenally well within the cycle as a meme coin. $688 million fully diluted valuation. I got Popcat on the list. Next up, further down the list, is an AI coin. So if we go a little bit down, how far down did I have to go down for this? Let's have a look. Pendle. No, I didn't put Pendle. Look, I think Pendle could do well. That could be a notable mention, a noteworthy mention, but I decided to personally leave Pendle out. It is sitting at $895 million fully diluted valuation. I think that one could do well. You could put it as an honorable mention. But the next one that I put on, which again is going to be incredibly risky when you compare to something like Render, but if you want those pumpermental gains, EOS was the next one. $527 million fully diluted valuation. I got EOS on the list in the top 100. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, I skipped a Book of Meme, even though I do have this in my portfolio. Let's go a little bit further down the list. It's not Axelar, not Layer 0. I didn't put Gnosis, no. Theta Fuel, definitely not. Oasis Network, I skipped that. Swell, nope. It's 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏 was the next one I put on the list. $389 million fully diluted valuation. I do genuinely believe we're in a meme coin super cycle. If you want to label it that, label it what you want. The point is that it becomes a trend continuation. And if you want to know more about this, literally just go back to yesterday's show. I did a whole show on why meme coins probably continue to outperform. So that is the next one, is MOG. And then further down the list was an interesting one. It's not the one you traditionally would think of. It's Pepe coin, right? This is the OG Pepe coin. $409 million fully diluted valuation. And if you go back on the price chart over here, well, you can see that it had a very long base of support before pushing towards the upside. This is also tying in with the AI narrative with based AI. So this was some of the coins that I've been looking at. Again, I do have further on the list. I think I have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 coins that I do want to give you, but it's going to take too long. That's the 300 to 400 on the list of CoinMarketCap. So those are the coins that I'm looking at. Now, where can you buy these coins? It all depends, right? Some of them, if you go onto here, you can just scroll through to the bottom of each of these. You can see Mexi, Bitkit, etc. It's all listed over here. If you go through to some of the others, for example, if you go through to, let's see, where do we have? Let's go to, for example, let's go to Toncoin as an example. You go to Toncoin. All you have to do is scroll through to the bottom over here, and you'll see everything, right? Bybit, BingX, Mexi, KuCoin. This will show you Coin market cap will also show you the same information underneath. So if you are looking to stack some of these coins, have a look at the link in the description below, because you can get a double benefit where you can possibly win the Cybertruck, right? We are doing the Cybertruck giveaway. There's a link below that is specific to Bybit, right? We have plenty of amazing exchange partners, but if you do want to get the Cybertruck, Bybit is in the link. All right, there was a question over there from Bantergirl. Let's see, you asked, where's that question over there? How do you manage so many coins? I feel like you've asked me this before, and I did tell you. I think, when it comes to managing the coins, if you are doing this as a profession and it's your job, then you have your usual checklist that you go through each and every day. You open your charts and you go through the list. You should manage those positions. You have to check in on them time and time again, right? At least maybe twice a week. It's not that much effort if you're holding even 30 positions. How long would it take me to click through 30 positions over here? All I have to do is look at the chart. Is it in an uptrend or a downtrend? It really comes to as simple as that. And I can just click through it. Look, it'll take me a few seconds. Here we go. The uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. That's it. That's all I need to do. I just need to see which way is the chart moving. And that's how I manage the positions. And if it starts to move into a downtrend, I cut the position and I move the equity into something that's doing well and in an uptrend. So that's basically the way that I do it. Now, also, it's important to mention that you need to have a look at these coins that you're going to be buying against Bitcoin. There's no point in holding long term. You don't want to ape into a position, right? You don't want to take, let's say you have $10,000. You don't want to take all $10,000 today and throw everything into the list that I've given you right now. You actually want to have a look at the chart, and you want to make sure that it's starting to establish some beautiful high highs and high lows. Is there some bullish price structure at play? Have you broken structure towards the upside, creating a slow uptrend, or is the chart absolutely nuking towards the downside like this coin, Zeta? If it looks like this, then you probably don't want to put your money in, even if I listed it, right? You don't want to put your money in until such time as you see a shift in the market structure, which would look like this, right? Cool, maybe you have a little bit of a higher low that's in the making over there, but it's not enough. I want to see this big move up, create the high, throw back into prior support, which then flipped into resistance, SR flip, create the high low, and that's where you start to buy. And then the uptrend should commence, right? That's what you're looking for. You're waiting for something like that. So even if I gave you something, now Subi is an example of one that may just be starting that. There's your example, right? We came out of a falling wedge formation, tightening into the apex, expecting the breakout. You got the breakout. There was a big bear trap over here, bear trap. So shaking everybody out of those positions, getting them all super bearish, and then immediately straight move up, comes back into the fair value gap, creates another higher high, and you're looking for the next high low over here. That could be the start of what may be a nice uptrend over there on SUI. Again, if you have more questions about this, of course, I will answer those questions for you guys in Whale Room later today when we do the live Zoom session. For the rest of you that want to learn more, again, you have Whale School at your disposal, absolutely free. So that's it from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know in the comments what you think. Smash the like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Hope you all have a great day, and cheers for now.